And in this video, I just wanted to share my unassisted home birth story. And this is not medical advice whatsoever. This is just my story, my experience, and all the brand new things I learned along this journey, and hopes to encourage other like-minded mamas. Like most women, before this whole experience, I thought three things: who is going to take care of me during my pregnancy, and who is going to deliver my baby, and where am I going to have the baby? Not just like anywhere, but like what hospital am I going to deliver this baby at? What if I had no access to any of that? Like, there came a time where I couldn't make it to a hospital. How many times have we watched the news or seen online where women are freaking out in the car because their baby's about to come out, or it did come out? You're usually coached during labor and coached during delivery. So it made me think, like, not only was this like a health conscious decision I made, but I was thinking, wow, what if I had no access? And what if I was one of those women in the car having a baby? Or what if baby did come so fast and I was at home? How freaked out would I have been? Because I've never learned about this, never prepared for this, and always had these health professionals just take care of everything. When I found out I was pregnant, I knew I wanted to have a natural birth. And when doing more research, I wanted to have a home birth. With my last birth, however, I was unprepared to do a natural birth. And then after delivery, I had complications. And the complications I had, they could have been avoided. And the horrific intervention, because of the so-called complication I had, was unnecessary. So at this point, I knew I wanted not only to have a natural birth, but I wanted to have a home birth as well. I never even heard of unassisted or free birth. So I found home birth doctors and midwives, and I got a chance to meet with them, speak to them, and it was awesome. It was so informative. One thing I remember the most is that they always let me know that it was me who was going to be delivering the baby. That it wasn't a doctor, it wasn't one of them, a midwife, a doula, my husband, anybody. They said, you are delivering your baby. So still, I began to research and pray. As I research, I come across YouTube videos that are listed like free birth, unassisted birth, and I'm just like, what? What is that? And I was like, yeah, this is how I thought anyways. If my body's supposed to do this, and these midwives keep telling me that it's me delivering my baby, not them delivering my baby, that they're just there on the sideline to kind of be there in case there's an emergency. And they went over every emergency with me, like what to do if this happened or that happened, why you need to go to hospital, and what things are supposed to look like. So I was like, I had faith, first of all, that there would be no complications. And after seeing those videos and seeing so many women give birth, unassisted births, I was just so encouraged, and I just had even more like confirmation that this is for me, this is what I want to do. We live in a time where we can just go online. We're past that, going online and typing things up. We can just say it to our telephone and they'll give us the answers. And these answers come from people who've researched, or people who are health professionals, people who have those papers, people who have these experiences. Just like I mentioned, all those YouTube videos I've seen, or all the books you can get in a library, or all of the information that this is the process of birth, this is the process of labor, this is the process of pregnancy. And these are the signs, and this is how you treat, and this is what you should do and how you should do these things. That last lesson I learned was, it's 2019. If you have a smartphone, be smart with it, and you can make your own decisions based on real facts and information, and not off of entertainment, but off of truth. This is how the Most High made me, to birth children, to carry a child, to produce breast milk. Like, it's just this amazing miracle that is natural, safe, and normal. In preparing for this unassisted natural home birth, everybody that I told, I regret I told them. So my husband's on board. I'm super excited. I'm praising Yah, and I'm just full of faith. But at the same time, the Most High began to deal with me and revealing to me that I needed to rearrange some things in my life. He showed me I had no room for doubt, no room for fear, no room for negativity whatsoever. So I had to shut all these things out of my life. And anyone in my life that had those things, and I noticed bringing it into my life or into my home or into our conversations, he began to reveal to me that I needed to separate myself from them, or set boundaries to protect my life and protect myself so that I could grow. And what's funny is, like, how I learned to do that. The Most High showed me, shut up, just shut up. and I'm like, oh, is that easy? I mean, I know it's not easy to shut up, but like, I'm thinking there's like this whole process of how to do these things, and he's just like, nah, just shut up. Something I was excited about. This is something I'm just this is new in my life. I'm about to have a baby, and I'm excited about it. People ask about what's going on, talk about your pregnancy. And so it was like I couldn't even talk about my pregnancy, because this is all I can think about. This is all that's great about it. This is all that I know about it. I wasn't going to see, I can't tell you anything what the doctor said and all that, because I wasn't seeing a doctor any longer. I went to the doctor 3 times during the whole pregnancy, and that was it. So there was nothing I could share other than like only with my husband of what we're doing to prepare for this home birth. But at the beginning, before I knew I needed to shut up, I shared what I was gonna do, and I didn't realize how many people aren't going to be excited. They are stuck with that fear. This was negative, and it was fearful, and it was so doubting that I wouldn't have complications and things like that. So I had to realize, no, you don't need to share nothing with nobody. You don't need to tell nobody nothing, because to protect yourself, and so you can grow. You don't want those things creeping into your life and into your home. And the worst part about this whole thing is that I went up to almost 42 weeks. So all around about 39 weeks, all the way to 42 weeks, it was like testing. Like, I felt like the Most High was testing me. Like, everybody, I don't see nobody, and nobody calls me, nobody connects with me, other than I have just 2 awesome women in my life that I talk to. And it wasn't even them, it was others who were just like, when's the baby coming? Is the baby here yet? Make sure you call me when you have the baby. What hospital are you gonna be at? All these things. And I'm just like you get excited, you want to respond, you just want to write something, you want to say something, but I didn't. I was like, nope, the Most High already revealed to me, just shut up, be quiet, don't tell nobody nothing. And everyone who I told that I might have the baby at home, I just made it more like I'm probably just gonna go to the hospital because I just didn't want them questioning. I didn't even want them thinking of talk. Like I was at a point where it's like I don't even want nobody talking about it without me around. Literally, I was like, it was like that deep that I was like, so I didn't say nothing. So at this point now in this journey, I'm 41 weeks, patiently waiting for his arrival, and then my husband, I'm so anxious. I just want to have this baby. I'm like, I'll take castor oil, I'll take anything. But I didn't. I was like, let me talk to my husband. Talk to him. He's like, no, just let everything happen natural. And I was like, all right. And at the same time, I started getting these muscle spasms in my inner thigh that would like stop me in my tracks, where I would almost fall. Like it hurt so bad. It was like a Charlie horse in my inner thigh. Like, so that started worrying me too. I'm like, what if I have this pain during labor, like, and delivery? Like, that is not okay. That's not safe. I'm like, maybe the Most High don't want me to do this. Like, what am I doing? He wants me to go to the hospital because I'm getting worried. And I was kind of quiet about it because I didn't want to worry my husband. But then he started getting worried because he's thinking, he's getting phone calls all the time by his mom. Maybe she got the date wrong. Like, oh my goodness, she's past 40 weeks. Like, this is crazy, you know? And I was like, maybe I'll go to the emergency room. My husband was like, yeah, go to the emergency room, you know? And so I was like, I'm gonna go to the emergency room. And I would tell them two things: the pain that I have in my inner thigh, and make it like I ain't worried about this baby, like, continuing to grow. Because all my children, they came right on time. The only one that wasn't on time on my due date, or the day before, the day after my due date, was my last baby, who was 10 days early from his due date. That was it. Early though, so never late, you know? And so I go to the emergency room and I tell them I'm 41 weeks. They're like, what? You need to go upstairs to labor and delivery department now, you know? So, I mean, I go up there and I tell them I have an issue with, they only want to talk about the pregnancy, but I'm like, I got an issue with my inner thigh here. Like, what is this? Is this a problem? Is this something I have during labor, blah, blah. And they only want to talk about labor and delivery, but they were like, nah, this is fine. This is no concern unless it's warm, or if it has this or that. And it was like, because there's no pain when they touched it. It only just comes like sporadically out of nowhere. So they were like, no, this is nothing. You probably have a tear. It'll only heal when you drop the weight of the baby. It's just not healing because you have so much weight on, and so whatever, the body's not gonna heal it right now. So I'm like, okay. And then they were talking all about labor and delivery, and then I started telling them basically everything. Not that I'm having a home birth, but just saying like, no, I don't have a doctor anymore. I had this doctor. I'm not going to see them anymore. I'm just going to come to the hospital when I'm ready, blah, blah. And they were like, we want to induce you this Tuesday. And I'm like, what? Like, and then she was like, okay, you're going to make an appointment, blah, blah, to come see me on this day. And if you don't have the baby by this day, then the next day we're going to do induction. And then I'm like, no. And then I didn't want to argue or anything, so I was like, all right, I'll go to the appointment on Monday and we'll talk about inducing me on the following day if I don't have the baby this week. And I talked to them about everything once again. Basically, the doctor was so sweet, and she was like, I'm basically doing all of your prenatal visits at this one visit right now. So I mean, it was kind of nice because I went over everything once again, and even went over I went over the medical history and the last birth once again with them, and I found out some things that I'm glad I went, and I believe it was the Most High who made sure I went so I could find this out, and so I don't go to the hospital like I plan to after I deliver the baby, either there or at home. I found out some extra things I didn't know that I should be prepared for, which to get me induced, she needed blood work, and but I didn't want to do the blood work. I'm like, no, I don't feel like being poked. Like, I'm having muscle spasms, I'm pregnant, and I'm 41 weeks. Like, the last thing I want to do is get poked. I don't like that. you know? So I'm like, no. And then she started talking to me like, well, if you don't get this blood work, then your son is gonna have to get this vaccine, hepatitis B, because we don't know if you have it, and we have to protect the baby. In the state of Rhode Island, you cannot release the baby without being cleared for hepatitis B or without him getting the vaccine. So I'm like, whoa, I didn't even know that. So basically they wouldn't have had my blood work showing that I didn't have hepatitis B, and then it would take a few days for them to get that blood work in before I could leave the hospital. So if I were to have this baby at home and then decide I'm gonna go to the hospital right away, or the hospital by the next day, or the hospital any day, if I went to the emergency room, they would say, oh, he doesn't have we don't have on file that you don't have hepatitis B. He needs to get the vaccine. And then I'm like, no. And then they're like, well, then we're gonna keep the baby until he gets the vaccine. And I'm like, oh my goodness, really? So I'm so glad I found that out. So then I knew what to do. I went and got my blood work done. The next day, I got my blood work done. And I spoke to another nurse about all my complications, which was fantastic. I mean, it was kind of annoying because these are the protocols she needed me to do so I can get induced when I was 42 weeks, which would have been 3 days from then. And I was like, so I was able to talk to her and get more confirmation that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I was so happy that I did that. I'm 41 weeks now in 6 days. I delivered the baby 2:50 a.m. that day that I was supposed to see her. And for consideration, because she was so sweet, I called just to cancel the appointment. But they knew me. They had me on file. So the person I was talking to, I'm like, I had the baby, so I'm good. I don't need to go to the doctor. And they're like, so you're at the emergency room? And I'm like, no, I had the baby at home. They're like, come, you have to come in. Oh my, like they were so scary. Oh my goodness. My plan during labor was to listen to music that was gonna, set the atmosphere and make me feel very, comfortable and relaxed. So I pressed shuffle on my playlist, and I'm like, I just listened to that, and that was the only song I put on. I was just meditating on that, and when the contractions got very strong, and I just knew in my mind, I was so focused. It was so amazing. Like it had to be, like I was just so focused. And the only thing when I would say something, when those contractions got real hard, and I just, there's no escaping, I would just say, oh, this is just the process. This is just how it's supposed to be. It's gonna pass. It's gonna pass. Like I would just say that over and over. That's all I was saying during the whole thing. And my husband, during the whole labor, was so chill, so calm, so peaceful. He didn't say a word. He didn't do a word. And when he did say one thing, I was like, no, don't tell me what to do. Like that's the only thing I ever said. It was like, but he would remind me to breathe, And I was breathing, but when it got intense, I'm like, like that, And but like I said, it would pass. It's gonna pass. This is the process. This is how it's supposed to be. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Like it was so peaceful, so chill, and it was perfect. None of my children woke up until like 30 minutes before I gave birth. One of my daughters comes in the room to see what's going on. She's always comes in our room all night. She's like still comes in my bedroom and just sees if anybody's awake and is like, can I sleep in your bed? So she came in there, and it was about 2:15 in the morning or so. I don't know, but it just felt like about 30 minutes before I had the baby. And I was like, everything's okay. Like I'm having the baby. And then she tells me later that she runs to the oldest daughter's room and is like, I can't believe I'm saying this right now, but mommy's having the baby. Because like I said, we're all just expecting the baby to come since like 39 weeks, 40 weeks, 41 weeks, and we're almost at 42. It's like, no baby, you know? So it was nighttime. I'm trying to go to sleep, and I feel my first contraction. I didn't plan on timing any contractions at all. So I had a second contraction, and I knew it was labor, and I decided to look at my phone just so I know when labor started, and it was 11:51. So at this point, I'm super excited. Labor finally started. I'm 41 weeks and 5 days, and I grab my headphones, grab my birth ball, and I head to a quiet area so I don't wake anybody up while I labor on my own. In my research, I learned that I should use the bathroom as often as possible, just so I don't feel extra pain, and I can distinguish between like a full bladder pain and a labor pain. So I kept using the bathroom, and as the contractions got stronger, I felt like I really had to go to the bathroom, you know what I mean? The number two. So as soon as I'm feeling like I need some help, I need something to hold on to, I'm not trying to do too much on my own if I don't have to. I call my husband just to like help me out, like during the contractions as I sit on the toilet. But ain't nothing coming out. I'm just like, oh, please, can I just go poop so that I don't have to poop during delivery? But nothing was coming out. But I was feeling that pain in my stomach, my low back, and my butt. And I was just like, I'm gonna stay right here just in case. So it started to get super uncomfortable. And so I was like, you know what? I can't sit here. I don't know where to labor. Let me go shower, get this over with so I could just be clean and maybe it'll relieve some pain. When that shower hit my back during a contraction, it felt like I was holding like I was holding huge bricks on my back or something. Like it was so heavy, the pressure. So I shut that shower off, put the bath on. I thought maybe I'll just lay down in the tub. Who knows? Maybe I'll have a baby here. It seems beautiful to have a water birth. But that was very uncomfortable as well. I tried to go on one side, the other side. I just felt claustrophobic in that bath. So I got dried off, jumped out of there. Not really jumped, but like eased my way out as I was having contractions every minute or less. So yeah, I learned that a great position is squatting and on all fours, and I did that when I was laboring with my fourth child. So with this one, I did the same thing. I got on my knees and I was leaning over my husband over the bed, and I was okay. I was comfortable with pillows under my knees, and I was just like, I couldn't wait for it to be done. I couldn't wait for it to be over. I felt like it was close. It was definitely at those last stages of labor just because of the pain. It was just so intense. So the boys are up, and the children are all in the living room, and then I'm laboring with my husband. I just knew this baby's coming. And like I said, I was leaning over my husband, and I tried to see if I feel a head or anything. So I'm like, wait, isn't it supposed to be? For some reason in my mind, I felt like, I don't know why, probably from watching too many of the videos of they're computerized, so you can see in the belly. For whatever reason, my mindset was as if the birth canal was so friggin' long. So I'm just like, I don't feel anything. And within 2 minutes or 2 or 3 contractions, before, I felt pressure in my back, so much pressure. And then it was just or something. I don't know, it was the head was there. And I'm just like a questionable scream, a questionable holler, because I'm waiting for pain that would feel I don't know. I was just waiting for some type of pain, but I didn't feel any pain. My husband sneaks out from in front of me and goes behind me and catches the baby because the baby came. And it was just so awesome. It wasn't like what I expected. And if he was here, he would tell you he was slippery and slimy, and I was and he was confused because I never shared a video, or he never came across and what he looked at in his research that about the sac, but I knew about it, so I wasn't worried. But he was born in his sac. So my husband's kind of like, what is that? What is that? What is that? You know? And I'm just holding the baby, chilling, like slowly taking the sack off, you know, the baby, wiping him down, trying to make sure he's dry so he's not cold. And I'm just holding him, just enjoying. And why I just, in my peripheral vision, I just remember like my husband kind of like moving around, and he's told me that he needs to get all the blood out so the children don't like panic, because he's trying to just wipe up all the blood and get everything set up next. That was like our little plan, routine, our drill that we did. But so I wasn't even worried about that though. I'm just like holding my baby, just chilling, enjoying. And the girls walk in, they're just chilling. The boys were like, the baby, my toddler, he came over right away, Judah, and he's just looking around like, baby, he's happy. The girls are happy. And then my 5-year-old comes in and just like backs out slowly, like, no, like, I ain't doing this. And my husband tells me that when he went over there to check on him, he's like, that's gross. That's disgusting. He does not like blood. He doesn't like any of that stuff. So it was just so funny when he told me that. But like I said, I was enjoying it. He was born. He was healthy. He was whole. And about maybe a minute goes by, and he makes a little squeal noise. Like he doesn't cry. Like, yeah, just a little like does it. Like he's like, I'm here. He knows it. And he's breathing fine. He's good. So right after delivery, I learned in my research that, dry them off right away, make sure they're nice and warm and dry, put them skin to skin, and begin to nurse. That's gonna get the oxytocin going and contract the uterus some more and help the placenta be delivered. So as soon as I was just kind of chilling, I felt like the placenta detached pretty early, but pretty soon after, because I was still on the floor. I don't know if it detached, but I'm saying like it felt different. My stomach felt different, and my husband helped me up. I was still holding the baby. He set up the bed. I sat down on the bed. Like as soon as I sat down, it was like boom, the placenta just fell out. And so we transferred it to a bowl, and I began nursing then. I didn't get to nurse as soon as right before the placenta just came out, but I began to nurse him, and it was just so chill and so peaceful. My husband, probably about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours after delivery, we cut the umbilical cord and clamped the little umbilical cord stump, and took the baby's height and weight, and it was just really peaceful and really chill. So got to take a shower really soon after. I got cleaned up, felt fantastic, drank something, ate something, laid down, and tried to sleep. I started getting those afterbirth pains. I learned in my research that the more children you have, the worse the pain is with each pregnancy. And so this is birth number 5, and literally like I felt like I was in labor once again, like shivering, oh my goodness, like hurt so much. I began to throw up. It was terrible. So I decided, I'm gonna take me some ibuprofen and have some tea, and just, I was taking those ibuprofens every 4 hours. It was a lot of pain, but it only lasted for 2 days, so hallelujah for that. Just the first day and the second day, and I was done with the ibuprofen. I was done with the pain. I lift my eyes up to the hills, and I'm assured of where my help
comes from. My help comes from the only one, creator of the earth and of heaven. He who keeps Israel never sleeps. He who keeps Israel never slumbers. He will not let your foot be moved. Let him help you to stand in the truth. Say